Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Argos Anonymous. I am Argos. We have an interesting video today. We have a trade that I'm facilitating between two members of the MetaFam. A Mr. V and a Mr. A have each sent some items for me to authenticate and appreciate and then distribute back to them. There's some high-value items. We have some sample cards and some slabbed Kickstarter in one box. And then in this other box, which was an outer box that has an inner box. So let me pull this inner boy out so we don't get the tracking and stuff on camera. There we go. This one has a Kickstarter slabbed full hollow Mothman. And so what was happening here was Mr. V has really wanted to get himself a full hollow Kickstarter Mothman. And Mr. A wanted to diversify into other things. And so they sent them both to me. And then I'm making this video. I'm going to show all the contents. And they want me to validate the cards, make sure that they're real, right? Which is so we can talk about fake cards and talk about authenticity, stuff like that, even in slabs. That's just how the world works now. And then once everything looks good, I will let them watch this footage. And if everyone's happy, then I'll send these out. And I don't actually like to do a lot of things like this because there's no real benefit to me. I'm just helping people out. But you know, every now and then I will facilitate a trade. Especially if it's for a patron or something like that. So what I've got is I've got some cards with me to use as references, something I like to do when I am deciding whether or not something is real. So let's do the Kickstarter Moth first. I've sort of cut around the edge of this thing here. We're going to do the Kickstarter Moth. Now, this gentleman also sent me a few other slabs to check out from some other grading companies, because that's something I like to do. So it looks like, oh, dude, you gave me full hollow second edition Mothman. That's nice. That is cool. You know, I've never held. So this is secure, reliable grading, SRG, and then this is GMA. And I'm going to be honest with you, I actually don't know what GMA stands for, but these are basically two different grading companies that are, you know, any of the plethora of grading companies that are basically not PSA or BGS or CGC or whatever. But anyway, so he sent me these. He wanted me to, I'm going to do a different video on that. He wanted me to compare and evaluate the slabs and then compare them to some other slabs. I will do that video, but we're going to do that video at a different time. So thank you, sir, for doing that. We're going to put these aside for now, and then we'll come with that later. So here is the trade moth. So there he is. Look at him. So a full hollow Kickstarter BGS 9 Mothman is what we've got, and Mr. V wants to know, is it real, and how does it look? Does it look okay? And so let's see here. So the front is quite nice. Notice he did not do subgrades on that, just got the 9. He PSA styled it. Okay. So when you're evaluating cards for authenticity, what happened with MetaZoo is there were these like proxies going around. Actually, let me get my Kickstarter moths. In my opinion, what happened was the grading companies, they weren't even looking, because the proxies that are out there, the sample cards in Kickstarter, they are the wrong coloring, gloss, cardstock, alignment. Some of the font is wrong. Like, they're so wrong. The shadowing is wrong. They're so wrong that the only way they would pass is if people weren't even looking. Here, for example, hey, what do you guys think about my my Black Lotus collection? Isn't that nice? Doesn't he look real? He looks like a Black Lotus. Look, it's the right photo. It says magic on the back. It must be real. How about these cards? Worm Coil Agent, Stonefoam Mana Crypt, Mox Opal, Jace. My goodness, Jeweled Lowtie. Look at all these masterpiece collection cards and insane things. Is that a Beta Chaos Orb? It says magic on the back. It looks like a Chaos Orb. No, these are all fake. These are all fake cards. And the truth is, anyone who knows what they're doing, they'll know this is a fake Black Lotus. They'll know, because they know what to look for. So what happened with the MetaZoo fakes is the grading companies weren't even looking, because everything's wrong about the fakes. And so that makes it nice then for people who actually do know what they're looking for and are looking, because then you can evaluate these things. We're trying to light up a little bit and tell if it's fake. or not. And so you want to look at the texture of the card. A little bit harder to see under a slab, but you want to look at the shadowing and the coloring. So one of the first generation fake that came out when you have this Kickstarter Mothman, what you're looking for in part is you're looking for the shadowing along the Z. You want to make sure that the shadowing is the right thickness and in the right place. Make sure it's on the left, for example, and the appropriate thickness, and we see that it is. Other thing you want to see is you want to see that there's the alignment of this O is correct. In some of the fake cards, this whole MetaZoo is like shifted over, and the inside of this O is fully yellow or almost completely yellow. And in a real MetaZoo card, it's not. It's more over to the right, and you can see there's like red behind that. Right in that last hole of the O. The other one is you want to see the alignment of this second O in MetaZoo. You want to see that it aligns right there where that far right line going down this, whatever the heck that is, pierces basically right through the middle of that O, as you can see on both of these very real cards. You also want to get some comparisons from the print, ideally, because yeah, you do have some variability between print runs, but MetaZoo so far, the print runs are so small, they're pretty much one and done. And so on the fakes, the yellow is really bright. And so these ones you can see it's the same. So congratulations, this is a very real full holo Kickstarter Mothman, BGS 9. So Mr. V, thank you to Mr. A for sending us a real moth, and we can see that by surrounding him with his buddies and doing comparison checks and knowing what to look for fakes. And then if we wanted to, especially if it weren't in the slab, you can also look for like the texture and gloss of the cardstock, because MetaZoo cardstock has actually changed a little bit between almost every printing. So, you know, once you know what to look for, you'll recognize anomalies. Okay, so if we know that the BGS 9 Full Holo Mothman is real, I guess what's next is to look at Mr. V's very secure treasure trove of stuff. We're going to dive into this. We're going to try not to show the labels. Gosh, where's the seam? Right in there? Yeah, let's go in there and see if we can get in. Okay, so for starters, we have this full holo, wow, 10, that's nice, PSA 10 full holo Kickstarter Tizaruk that V is going to be trading there. And then, if we can ever through the tape, there we go. All right, and then we have a reverse holo Kickstarter PSA 9, so we'll just look at him as well. And then one of these, I believe, what does that say? There's like a label on there. Let's see what that says. It's weird. All right, and then we're going to open this thing up. Mr. V sent a PSA 10 reverse holo Kickstarter Frog. Awesome. And then what do you have here? There's your sample card. And there's like a thing on the plastic. Doesn't matter. So there's a PSA 9 Dragon's Breath holo sample card. Man, look at that. Look at that. A little bit off center, otherwise quite nice looking. Gorgeous, gorgeous sample card. Don't see too many of those. So we're going to check these for authenticity. We'll start off with the PSA 9 Reverse Holo Moth. So for Reverse Holo Moths, we brought some Reverse Holo Moth Friends. We're going to just not mix them up. So Mr. V's is on top. Mine are on the bottom. So these are all PSA 9s. Most of the PSA 9s have this hickey. So this is what's known as the hickey Mothman, where it is basically, it can be a beautiful card, but if it has this printer defect, PSA usually, there are a couple of exceptions, usually gives it a 9 for that, which gives rise to the topic of the no hickey Mothman. Let's see, I believe I have one over here. Yeah, so the no hickey Mothman is the reason why PSA 10 Reverse Holo Kickstarter Mothman is so rare compared to the full holo PSA 10, because most of the Reverse Holo Kickstarter Mothmans have these hickeys, which takes them down to a 9. This is what's called a no hickey Mothman, which is how it got a 10. Another one, and so you don't see a whole lot of those. I don't know what the pop report is now, but it used to be like less than half of the full holo 10. So these are all hickey Mothman. See, they all have that same little printer defect, hickey, 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 and they're all PSA 9. We're just gonna make sure now with that defect, it's almost certainly real, because like, why would you create a fake with a flaw? That's especially, see how it's not like a copy, like the hickey changes location slightly on all these different cards. So anyway, we're gonna just turn him over Boom, boom, boom. And we're going to check the coloring inside the O, check the shadowing on the Z, check the overall brightness of the yellow, check the alignment of everything. Everything lines up, everything looks good, and the cardstock looks good, the texture looks good. Congratulations, that is a real reverse holo Kickstarter PSA 9 Moth Man. Cool, man. So let's go to the Tiz. Now, Tiz Huruk and the Mighty Frog. So I just like to, I don't know, these are slabbed into me. They're both 10s. Beautiful, beautiful cards. If we open up some Kickstarter, just to find some friends for these guys. Here we go. We have Frogtown. So if we pull up Kickstarter vs. Hall of Frogs again, you're going to see the same characteristics. You know, you just want to make sure the fonts are the same. The set symbol's the same. You do notice some coloration differences on certain cards, especially non-holos. Sometimes you get a little extra red saturation, stuff like that. But the holos are usually pretty uniform. The K is good. The text and font is good. The alignment is good. The resolution is good. Everything looks fine. And then we'll just check the back and make sure that the back is authentic. Yeah, your frog is good. Frog is good to go. Go to the Tiz Huruk. Let's find his people. Tiz Huruk, nice. Here we go. Tiz Huruk. So here's Kickstarter full holo Tiz Huruks, and we're gonna line that guy up and just match it up. Make sure the fonts and the alignment and the colors are good and the resolution's good and the text is good. Everything's good. Everything lines up very nicely. Nice little holographic star. Very cool. And then the back is looking good. There's no yellow inside the O. Shadowing is good. The color is good. Everything's good. So I don't know how a grading company would miss that, frankly. Like they just can't be looking. It's so obvious they can't be looking. Or they weren't before. Now they apparently are. You know, hopefully all of them. So here's your sample cards. So what we have here, sample cards have a different cardstock, which is another reason that the fakes are so easy to find, is because they use the fakes use the same cardstock between all the sample and Kickstarter fakes. But true MetaZoo cards, sample cardstock is very different than Kickstarter cardstock. It's like a gloss. It has a texture to it. It's different. It's a different cardstock, and so if you don't know that, you're gonna make the wrong fake. So what we want to do is we just want to look. Now it's through a slab, so it's a little bit more challenging, but to the human eye, you can recognize the higher level gloss and the little, like, can you see the pattern on the cardstock? How there's like little divots and not like waves, but there's texture. There's texturing to the surface of the card. You can see it better on this card because it's not in the slab, but do you see in the glare there's like little lines? That's normal texture of a sample card. That's just how they come. Not all MetaZoo cards are like that. So I know it's an authentic cardstock, and then the card back is great. It's a nice little sample back. We have a bunch of other samples we can compare to if we felt so inclined, but they're all going to check out. So that's a beautiful real PSA 9 sample card. Congratulations on that. So now that we know everything's real, we'll just line these things up. And then what I usually do in this kind of a situation is I send this video footage to both parties, and then if they are both happy with what's going on here, then I just send them out and I wish them the best of luck with their endeavors and their lives and all that stuff. Very, very cool trade. Cool high value trade. It's really fun having an opportunity to see cards like this come through. It's cool. I'm very happy to help. I hope some of you will find this educational, as you know, there are some fear mongers out there that try to pump the idea of like fake MetaZoo cards. They're just like, they're pumping for clicks, man. And the biggest problem was that the grading companies, they were checked out. They weren't looking. They weren't even thinking about it. But now, fortunately, now they are, and they've been educated. And they were told about which certs had the fakes, and they hunted them down and shot them out of the sky. So, but you know, it's on us, right? I mean, the grading companies have a lot going on. Right? They're grading a lot of different games, so it's just important to just be aware that fakes are out there, and if you have that awareness, then you're not going to buy a stupid good deal for you're going to spend $200 on Black Lotus and think it's real. Because it's fake. If I sent this to any company, they would be so onto it because they know that they exist, and so they look for it, and they would say, that's fake. Look at the modern Magic cards. Look at that. That's a fake. That's like a fake modern Magic card. They look so close. They even have like similar little I don't know what that is. But you know what? Like, this is even distinguishably fake. Do you know why? Because in the same way that these sample cards, these other cards, the same way that the fake MetaZoo cards have like different little characteristics that are obvious tells, so does this. If you put it next to a real one, you'll notice like the thickness of something is off and the alignment is off. There's little things that are wrong with it. As soon as you know what to look for, then you'll see it. And if you don't know, then you won't. And those are the people who get hosed. So just be aware, deal with your friends, deal with people you know about, and then you don't have to deal with having all these fake things flying around in your face, causing you problems. Nobody wants that. Be aware. That's all I got for now. Thank you, MetaFam, for stopping by. Always appreciate this opportunity to entertain the fine people of MetaZoo with other people's cards. This is Argos. Until next time, gents. Signing out.